Hey everyone, welcome back to the Metacast podcast, where we talk about all things robot, teamwork, and community. Today we're diving into something that every robotics team should be thinking about, and maybe even prioritizing: outreach. Now, outreach sounds like a fancy word, but really it's just about sharing what we do with the world, showing people how STEM and robotics can be fun, creative, and life-changing. And the truth is, it doesn't take a huge budget or a professional PR team to start doing it. It just takes a little courage, persistence, and a willingness to reach out. Why outreach matters. When our team first started, we were pretty small, just 6 members who could barely find time to meet, much less think about big community events. But once we started doing outreach, something changed. We weren't just a club that built robots anymore, we became part of our community. Outreach helped us grow, find sponsors, and inspire young students to explore STEM, and maybe join our team in the future. Most importantly, it gave our hard work a purpose beyond competition. That's something I want every team to understand. Outreach isn't just an extra, it's the heartbeat of our program. It keeps our team visible, builds support, and gives our members real-world skills in communication, leadership, and project management. How to start. The power of cold calling and cold emailing. Alright, so let's talk practical. How do you start an outreach program? The number one tip: don't be afraid to cold call or cold email. It's awkward at first, but it's incredibly powerful. When we started planning our first big outreach events like our foreign exchanges, we had no clue where to start. We didn't have any sponsors lined up or even a place to host. So we made a list of local organizations that started these types of programs and just started calling. Most didn't respond. Few said no, but a couple said yes, and soon we had 2 amazing foreign exchanges through the Sister Cities program. The key is persistence. Out of 10 emails, maybe 1 will lead somewhere. But that one yes can turn into a partnership that lasts for years. So if you're listening and you've been nervous about reaching out, here's your push. Send that email or make that call anyway. You never know who might say yes. Using the connections you already have. The second piece of advice is using the connections that you already have. Sometimes the best opportunities come from the people around you. A parent who works at a recycling center, or a local business that does metalworking, or even someone at your school who runs the community newsletter. These are all potential partners. When we started our tool lending program, we got the idea because a team we were mentoring did the same. We reached out to families and friends looking for extra tools, and suddenly we had the materials to start lending a library for other teams, clubs, and just the people in our community. The same thing happened when we began mentoring middle school robotics teams. A teacher at a local middle school mentioned they needed help tutoring their students in their robotics program. That one conversation turned into a weekly mentorship program where our members help students with coding and engineering. And honestly, it's one of the most rewarding things we do. We'll talk about that soon in the interview. So look around. What do you know that might have something to contribute? Maybe it's a parent who can introduce you to their company's community outreach manager, or a teammate who volunteers at a library that could host a STEM demo. Connections aren't about luck. They're about being curious and reaching out. Interview. So to dig a little deeper into what mentoring looks like, I've got Abby here. They've been one of the main people helping organizing our middle school robotics mentorship program. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me. Setting up this mentorship program has definitely been one of the most rewarding things I've done on this team.
I agree. It's one of those things that started small but made a big impact. Can you talk about how you first got involved with it?
Yeah, it actually started when a teacher at a nearby middle school mentioned that they had a robotics team, but no one really knew robotics to help guide them. We offered to stop by once a week to mentor students, just giving advice, showing them how to code, helping them troubleshoot that kind of thing. We had experience because we did the program in the past.
Right, and I remember when at first we thought it'd be a quick check-in each week, but it grew into something way bigger.
Exactly. The kids got really into it, and they'd be waiting for us to show up full of questions and ideas. You could see how much confidence they gained every time they solved a problem on their own. It reminded me a lot of how we felt when we were first doing robotics in that program.
Yeah, it's cool seeing the same spark we had when we were kids, when it started showing up in someone else.
Totally, and it's not like we're running their team or building for them. It's more like guiding them to figure out things themselves. We help them think through how to plan their project, manage their time, and work together as a team, which are the same skills we use on our team.
That's such an important part. Mentoring isn't about doing the work for them, it's about helping them grow.
Exactly. I think that's what makes it so fun. Well, we'll come in with a small plan for what to teach that day, but the students always surprise us with their own creative ideas. Sometimes they'll ask about sensors or building techniques we hadn't even thought to show them yet.
Yeah. And one cool thing, it's not just helping them, we learn a lot too. It forces us to explain how things work clearly, which helps us understand our own designs better.
Yeah, 100%. Teaching makes you realize how much you've learned and how much more there always is to learn. Plus, it's helped us build relationships with schools that now invite us to their STEM nights or ask us to demo our robot. We've even refereed at two of their tournaments.
That's true. Mentoring opened a lot of doors for our outreach we wouldn't have found otherwise.
Exactly, and honestly, I think it's one of the best ways for robotics teams to get involved with the community. You don't need a big budget or fancy setup, just a few team members willing to spend time sharing what they know.
Yeah, it's amazing how much of an impact that can have. Some of those robotics students might be on our team in a couple of years.
I really hope so. You can tell they've already got the curiosity and teamwork down. It's just about giving them that push to keep exploring.
Well, thanks for coming and sharing that. I think a lot of teams listening will realize that mentoring younger students is one of the most meaningful forms of outreach that they can do.
Thanks, and if you're a team thinking about starting something similar, just reach out to a local school or community center. You'll be surprised how many kids are eager to learn.
Making outreach fun and meaningful. Another successful program we did was our Eco Arcade. It started as this wild idea. What if we turned recycling into a hands-on game experience? We built an arcade machine from old electronics and coded them so kids could play and learn about sustainability at the same time. What makes it work isn't the tech, it's the story. Kids walking away laughing and smiling, parents asking questions about robotics, and our team got to show how engineering can make the world a better place. That's what good outreach does. It makes STEM accessible and exciting for all people. We tried to keep that same energy when doing STEM demos at libraries. Instead of just showing off our robot, we set up literal interactive stations, coding challenges, building mini robots, or letting kids drive one of our robots. Those small moments are what spark long-term interest in robotics. Going global and building bridges. Another thing that shaped how we think about outreach was our experience with foreign exchanges. We created a program where we flew out to Mexico to present our ocean cleanup robot that collects plastic from the ocean surface and metal from the sea floor. That experience reminded us that STEM is universal. It connects people from every background. We started doing cultural exchanges too, where we share how robotics competitions work in the US and learn about how STEM is taught elsewhere. That gave our team a broader perspective, and it made us want to build a network that reaches far beyond our town. If your team has exchange students or even just online connections with teams from other regions, even other regions outside of the US, lean into that. Trade ideas, host virtual meetups, collaborate on mini projects. Outreach doesn't stop at your school's walls. Let it go global. How to keep it going. The hardest part of outreach isn't necessarily starting it, it's keeping it going. Here are a few tips that have helped us. Document everything. Take photos, record attendance, and keep notes on who you contact. This helps when applying for rewards or trying to reconnect later. Building a team around outreach. Don't let it fall on one person. Make it fun. Have subgroups for social media, logistics, and design. Make sure everyone's doing their part on your team. Reflect after each event. What went well? What would you change? We do quick debriefs after every outreach event, and it's helpful because it helps us refine and improve each time. Stay consistent. Even small events like small classroom demos add up. Outreach is about continuing the momentum you started with. Bring it all together. If you could sum up everything we've learned about outreach, it would be this. You don't need to be a big team with tons of resources. You just need creativity, persistence, and a willingness to talk to people. Cold emails and calls open doors. Connections turn ideas into opportunities. And once you start doing outreach, it'll transform your team. We've seen it happen in the excitement of kids at our demos and the gratitudes of teachers we've partnered with and in our own teammates who've learned how powerful it is to get back. So if you're listening right now thinking our team's too small or we don't know where to start, here's your challenge. Start with one thing. Send that email, call that library, reach out to a parent who might have a lead. Because every great outreach story starts the same way, with one person deciding to take their first step. That's all on today's episode of the Metacast podcast. If you found this helpful, share it with another team or mentor who's looking to expand their outreach. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, robotics isn't just about building robots, it's about building a community.